Okay. So it's 3:28. We'll call it a little early. And I'll ask for a roll call because we have a new face, so I don't know everybody. Yeah, you weren't prepped for this, were you?
I can do it.
Okay.
All right. So Commissioner Bright,
Here.
Commissioner Streitenberger.
Here.
Did I say it right or wrong?
It's okay. Streitberger.
Streitenberger. I put an A in there.
Everybody does.
Streitenberger. I apologize. Commissioner Lucy.
Here.
Commissioner, nope. Matthews Bach.
Yeah.
All right. All four that we're aware of, president accounted for.
Thank you. On the business, we don't have it on here.
I don't think it had been confirmed yet, so I told Alicia that you were probably gonna take over the agenda and have it at the front.
Okay, yes, so we're gonna adjust the agenda and add the Albany Arts Appreciation Award. So we had Eileen Hinkle and her father, which is, remind me of your name, I apologize. Peter Hinkle, yes. Is here to accept on her behalf. We tried to get Eileen to come and join us when we did this back in October at the council meeting, and she's been traveling, which is wonderful for her, and I'm glad she's got some projects to go do out and about. And so the Albany Arts Appreciation Award is a brand new initiative of this Arts Commission here for the city of Albany. We're trying to get beyond just highlighting kind of the physical 3D art that we show here in City Hall and expand our scope a bit and show appreciation to all of arts across the city and to the folks that support that. And so we have two levels of award. One is for individuals and individual artists. So whether they support the arts through providing access in some way or creating art in the city. And then we have a community group level. And so Eileen was selected for all the many wonderful murals she has produced around the city. We appreciate it. And she told me in an email that you helped her on the most recent one, the Chamber of Commerce. So this is as much your name.
No, it's not mine. Thank you.
But we wanted to pass this along to you. I wish we could have done it in front of council and had you there to get the photo with the mayor and all that good stuff. But if you'd like to take a photo with Kim and I, or we can have everybody stand now. Okay, no. We would love to do that. And,
I don't know if she needs a photo, but I'd be happy to do whatever you like.
Sure. Can we grab a quick photo so that we can scroll? Because we want to highlight and let the city know.
Yeah, great idea.
So.
All right, no one. I feel arrested in this one. Good angles.
Okay. So pass this back on to you. And this is a part of the inaugural
Plaque.
Now you're in class.
class of awardees.
Know how to use a cell phone very much.
It's not yours, so.
Good call. I think go this way too, because that's a little weird.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you very much. Yes.
She has,
And you want to talk about her work? She did.
I'd be happy to talk about her work, but that, basically, as I said a couple minutes ago, that she sends her apologies, she can't do it. She's actually settled in Boulder right now, taking graduate classes in art.
Oh, wonderful.
She's heading for some masters of fine art. To teach.
Oh, great.
That's her plan. I mean, I'd be happy to fill you in on lots of background about her, but I don't want to.
No, go ahead. Yeah, that's what we're here to appreciate.
Well, she graduated from Northwestern with a degree in Spanish and psychology, and on her last term, she went to Peru and did her first mural there, and took a few art classes which she hadn't taken at all in college. And her professor said, "You got to take more art classes. You're really good." Well, she did. She took an entire extra term and did art classes in Peru, and then she spent 6 years in South America doing murals. Up and down the west coast of South America. She has murals in Colombia, Peru, Chile, and Argentina. As far south as the tip of Argentina, which is a place called Ushuaia. And so she was there in South America for 6 years, and then she went to Spain in 2019 to do a year's fellowship at University of Barcelona in some form of art. I don't know what it was, but COVID ruined that. The program had to be shut down, and she came home. So that's the short story. She loves her art, but she would like to be able to teach. And you can't teach without a degree, so she's going for the degree now.
Very cool.
She asked me to say that, to tell you this.
Yeah.
By way of thanks. I'm deeply honored to be recognized by the Albany Arts Commission for my mural work. My experience painting murals in Albany has been exceptionally positive. The feedback that I've received on my projects is proof of this community's deep love for art. Public art is a unifying force in the world, and is something that we all share. I'm so grateful to be able to contribute to this city in this way, and I'm looking forward to seeing the walls of Albany continue to bloom with life, color, and beauty.
Oh.
Thank you very much, Eileen.
Very
Lovely.
very
Lovely.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah. She can watch the video. She said.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Does she have plans to come back to the area, hopefully, because we would.
Well, she doesn't know where she wants to settle.
Yeah.
She's kind of all got wanderlust. She does want to be able to get a job.
Yeah.
Because, you know, throughout, her work in South America, she didn't get paid much for murals. And so she needs to be able to, you know, put bread on the table. So she needs to find a place where she can get a job, and she doesn't know where that's gonna be. She loves Colorado, she likes New Mexico, but at this point, she doesn't know where she's gonna end up. We try to have her come back as often as possible. And she's got a couple of irons in the fire in Corvallis right now, but they're just in preliminary planning stages, and nothing's settled, so. That's her situation.
We look forward to seeing what the future holds.
Yeah, I do too. It's great. And I really hope, and I think her work should last a while, because she's very careful about coating it, you know, with this protective ultraviolet and all this sun protection thing. So hopefully the one on the carrots, across from the carousel, will last a long time.
I think that one will, yeah, it's got a good visibility to keep it safe too.
Well, and it's not on the south side,
Yeah.
so it doesn't get, you know, total all day exposure, but.
Yeah.
The one she has in Corvallis on Highway 99, I don't know if you've noticed, it's a mural that has Mount Hood and Mount Rainier in the same mural with mountains and trees and everything like that. She did that in 2016, and she put that protective coat on there, and the color is still really good.
Oh, good.
So I hope this lasts a long time. She does too.
Well, we hope our work lasts a long time in Albany. I know we all appreciated it.
Yes,
and-
very
and-
much.
And we're so excited to be able to nominate her for this kind of inaugural.
She's very grateful. Okay, can I leave?
Yeah. you do not-
Take that with you.
For the rest of the meeting. It's not a requirement.
Hope you all have a great year.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right. And then. Yeah, I think we can make it, I'll just run the rest this first half. Yeah, because we gotta do the voting, right? For chair.
No, we're gonna save that. We'll
For the
save
next
that
time?
for the next.
Okay.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that for a minute and I'll run the rest of the meeting. Business from the public. Did we have any comments or people join us for business from the public?
No, we-
Okay, then approval of the December 10th, 2024 minutes. And I'll give everybody a second to read because I didn't take the time to read it in advance for once, so. um,
Supposed to feel like such a gap between meetings.
It really does, doesn't it?
Well, all those other meetings I go to. Eat. Go ahead.
It's just your own fault, you didn't have to join me.
That's
All right, as everybody's had a chance to look over the minutes, I know there's really three of the members here that were actually attended and can probably provide feedback. Was there any corrections that you noted? Okay, then, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Last chance for discussion. All right, then all in favor of approving minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, they are passed. Then moving on to not scheduled business, we're gonna yet again modify the agenda. I apologize. We have a new commission member and we should do a round of introductions. So I'll start off and then we'll invite you to introduce yourself. So I am Keith Losey. I'm the executive director over at the Albany Regional Museum. I am the current, last year I've been chair for a couple of years of the Arts Commission. And I think the longest serving member of the commission at this time. We came on similar timing, but
You're here a year
That's right.
before us
Okay.
at least.
yeah,
Yeah.
currently the longest serving
Senior
member of the commission. You want to include?
Sure.
that?
So Kim Ledane, Director of Parks and Rec, and I am the staff liaison for the Arts Commission. Thank you.
I'm Nolan Streitberger. I've been on the commission for, well, this is my second term, so 3 years, at least this fourth year now, I think. I don't know. I'm on another commission too. It all gets kind of muddy, but yeah, this one was second, so. Local artist. Yeah.
I'm Lisa Bright. We came on about the same time, so yeah, this is our second term. I do the gallery.
Nice, okay.
I'm Lucia. I do all the notes and I'm a contact.
She keeps us organized.
Yep.
That's a good thing. That's a artists need to be organized. I'm Lee Matthews Bach.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about,
I don't know, what do you want to know?
are you a practicing artist, an appreciator,
Yes. So I'm on the performing arts side. I've directed about 33 local within the Willamette Valley community theater productions. I also was part of the Arts Commission for the City of Lebanon when I worked there and helped run that and do the projects. So I'm a great appreciator of the arts. So,
Wonderful. Thank you for coming out. And your, which ward's appointment? Or are you the mayor's appointment?
I'm the mayor's appointment.
so we're still missing 2A, in case anybody's curious.
So if you know anybody from that ward or anybody.
Or anybody else.
We will.
I'm surprised there isn't a plethora of applications. No?
I double checked to kind of see, and it looks like the applications that had been received have all been reviewed. So they're still looking for a good fit for the Arts Commission. So if you know of anybody, tell them to apply.
Let's see.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. And we will do our best to update you because there will be kind of outstanding discussion topics that will probably make very little sense to you. Unless you've gone back and watched some of our prior meetings, which you're welcome to do, to give you that background. But we'll move on to scheduled business. So discussion items, upcoming local arts events. So this is the time where we, various commission members can bring forward anything that they're aware of. So it might be the Albany Civic Theater and their latest production, which I believe is actually Charlie's Aunt, that they're on there. They're going into their second weekend. They got
Yes.
2 more weekends of that. if there's school plays, if there's an exhibition that that's coming up, this is the time to highlight that. In theory, we were gonna try to put a calendar out and it's never really quite solidified. But that would be wonderful if somebody wants to do that. I am technically looking at you, but I'm not asking you.
A calendar for local events.
Yeah, that we could help highlight, because I think one of the things at the Arts Commission that in my time here that I've encouraged us is we're a limited body of volunteers for the city, and we have certain tasks that we do on behalf of the city, such as the work that Lisa does managing the gallery out there, which is quite a bit of work, and doing the rotations there. Any, making decisions and recommendations on any donations of art to the city, and things of that nature. But the arts broadly needs more support here in our community, and so that's kind of an expansion that we have taken on to try, and that's why we have the awards that we just went over, and that's gonna be a regular October thing. And we'll also then go to council and talk about what we've been doing for the year. We've worked on some grants to help support various activities and initiatives like the First Friday events that we host for the artists that are showing here. And so getting that word out is kind of what I think is a viable use of our time. And so, yeah, that's why we have this little section here to.
And does the Arts Commission information they want to go out, does it go out via the city or does it have its own standing? Thank you.
It goes out through the city.
Assumed, but
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So are there any upcoming events anybody wants to highlight in this moment? I know coming up, the museum has an interesting exhibition that Nolan has actually helped us with that has an art element to it, because it's talking about local lore. And there is not necessarily imagery to go with this, because these are lived experiences that people brought up and shared either in newspaper stories or directly with folks. And it is, the question of, was there that UFO that flew over, but there was no picture taken? Our local Sasquatch story, the Concer Lake Monster, things of that nature. And so Nolan has actually assisted us with creating some artist rendered images for it. And so we'll have that up starting February 1st.
Nice.
So that is coming, and that'll be up until June. So, and then in August.
Wow, that's coming real quick.
It is coming really quick.
I'm on the museum board too, so.
Yeah, so we got a lot of overlap. And then later this year, Nolan will have another exhibition regarding his photography work at the museum on Oregon's Trail of Tears, which is an amazing display that'll be going up in August. So just a couple things from the museum to look forward to down the road. And we have our next gallery First Friday event coming up February 7th.
We have some things
To
to
discuss that.
address.
Okay. Yeah, and then I know the Civic Theater, and I don't know anything beyond that, so does anybody?
I haven't heard of anything.
That's
I
why,
really haven't.
see, this is why we want to make this a bigger thing and help other people here.
Yeah, I don't think MVP has put out their season yet, so
Okay.
I'll keep an eye on that to be able to share.
What's MVP?
Sorry, Mid Valley Productions, they are housed at the Russell Tripp Theater at LBCC. They're not part of the school, but they use that space.
They the ones who put on like newsies and stuff? Is that the same?
No, that's
That's a different
different.
group.
That's a youth program. This is
Okay.
a separate organization.
I think they did Mamma Mia.
No,
No?
they did, what they did last month was, oh gosh, what is it? It's a long title. It's a Wonderful Life radio play. So did that last month. They did a musical, or last year was their first year, so they're kind of up and coming, but they have more than just community theater. They have a variety of performing arts. Yeah, on their stage, so.
Awesome.
We should look at, I don't know, does LB post their, they have a rotating art
Oh, they have a gallery out there, yeah.
gallery.
Yeah.
Well, there's two, there used to be two. I don't know if it's still two.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
they, might be something to add to this, maybe. I can
It
look
would
into
be,
that.
yeah, if we could get a contact from them, that would, yeah.
Yeah, not to mention I could go look for artists.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on then to discussion item 2. So council chamber tapestry change. I don't have anything to update on this.
The only
Do you?
thing I would add to that is I did take a look at the tapestry and I do weaving. And in my opinion, I'm not a professional by any means, but in my opinion, that cannot be cleaned. And part of it is due to the nature of the type of thread that was used. And in certain areas, he used raffia. So, yeah, and it's been up for 25 years. The discussion was that the city council wants something different back there.
Well,
Oh,
so-
The mayor has indicated that he's interested
The
in seeing
mayor.
some change.
Yeah.
So I would say at this point, we have 2 new bodies on council. And so I chatted a little bit with our city manager and just said, where do we go from here? And so at this point, we can look to see how we can continue to preserve, if there's any minor cleaning that we're able to do. But at this point, it would have to be it's a 4 votes on the council in order to change something that involves, it's a larger discussion, so it won't be us making that decision. So, while it's good for us to have information in our back pocket and possible options and make sure that we're doing maintenance and whatever cleaning, even if it's a good vacuum
Yeah.
maybe.
So,
That is our extent at this point for what we're able to do, as we do not have adequate funds to address it, and we haven't been officially tasked by council. It has been a suggestion by the mayor.
so the council's in charge of that particular piece of art then?
No, well, it's,
I would say, if I can I do it?
yeah, go for it.
I would say if we came forward to council with a recommendation, they would do that. So it would be on us to do that. And, or the council as a whole, not just one member of the council, would task us with requesting a review of that particular piece, which they could, right?
But if we want to move around this stuff, that's okay. I'm not trying to fight it, I'm just trying to understand.
At this point, like, we would still take it to council to say, hey, you've put us in charge of all the art at City Hall, and taking a look at the room layouts and just like how long pieces have been. Here's our recommendation moving forward of where we would move all the pieces. And most of the time, they're probably gonna say, awesome, great, but you never know. There might be some counselors who feel really connected to the art in this room, and they're like, you know what? I think it needs to stay where it is. So we can certainly put together a plan. I would love to see it. I know staff would love to see it. And it's possible that the tapestry could be involved and like noted in there as to what could be the future. Does it get moved? Does it go to the library? Does it stay there? But as far as we need to commission a new piece of art to go in its place, that's a
No funding. I get
no
it.
fun. So sorry that I wasn't able to pick that up on the first try.
Okay. I just didn't.
Yeah, well, that's a good
That's kind of
question,
funny
'cause that
because
made me think more of like, oh, I mean. Can we make little changes of where this art is positioned, because there's no way that staff asked, can we change out the layout of this table in the conference room of council? That's too minor of a.
Oh, yeah, no, I would say if we were gonna come up with like hey, we're gonna move some stuff around. It would be a presentation that myself and Keith would go and be like, hey, you've asked for a refresh. Our crew is happy to do it. These are the things that we're gonna move in and out. Here's some opportunities for new public art. And that would also be the opportunity for larger pieces for a conversation that is on public record. To get momentum for either, yes, this is something we wanna prioritize and this is how we're gonna pay for it. Or continue to maintain certain things. It's a little wonky.
So it'd be an awareness campaign.
And we'd have to find an artist and commission the artist with funds we don't have.
Well, we have funds.
We do, but
We have funds,
Well,
because we have that prior grant that they approved us to keep, we just need to find a project for it. On top of the fundraising that we've done. Which we've done our own fundraising.
How much was that
$1,500.
Yeah, so it's not a huge amount, but there are grants that pop up periodically, like the Lane County Cultural Coalition, although that is due on February 1st, so that ain't gonna happen.
And they gave it to us last time, so.
They gave it to us last time, they could give it, they would be very likely to give us again if it was a new project, we just can't resubmit for
The same
the same
exact
project,
thing.
which would be the most likely thing for us to ask for funding for at this moment,
Mhm.
is to continue to fund those First Friday events. They love new things, which is a part of the grant. And that's their choice. We could have potentially used the 1,500 that we have as a matching if we had another project in mind. We haven't put together a project, so there's no way to put together a proposal in time. But something to keep in mind that this time of year is when that pops up, and so.
So we do have $1,500 to try to get something.
Yeah, which is cool, and potentially other options to get, because we've talked to some preliminary planning for some future fundraising here, I think, that Maddie was working on. I know we don't have it on the agenda, and that's getting a little outside of our scope right now, topic, but yeah, we have a little bit that we could make recommendations on. And getting matches for.
So yeah, so at this point, the information has been passed along to city manager's office. You've taken a look at it, Keith and I went and took a gander at it, so we'll do everything we can to keep it looking as beautiful as it currently is, and wait for additional.
I mean, yeah, unless one of us, would it be possible for one of us to spearhead and to go to the council and preemptively, if we said we had?
I'd say if you had an idea and money, that would be good, but I don't know how much $1,500 will.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Any other clarifying questions about that one? On hold unless somebody wants to spearhead it and figure out how you'd fund it. But otherwise we just wait for council's request. Okay. So A3, the donated artwork.
So, Rizal is an artist that has shown here a couple times, two, maybe three. Two. And they were lovely and showed this past July. And one day I came back into the office and this was there and I was like, what is this? And they wanted us to potentially accept it into the collection. And so it's been sitting very nicely in my office for the past few months, as we've just had a lot of other things that we needed to kind of work through. And we're still working through our public art acquisition guidelines. So this would be us taking potentially a little bit, we're talking about acquisition later today, but it just seems like a shame to have it just chilling in my office. So it's on the agenda today to see if this is something that we would officially like to accept. The value on it is $500, and it is of the Albany train station, so it is a local landmark. We would potentially accept it, and this group could figure out where they want to put it, and also tell leadership team, this is where we're putting a new piece of art, or something. Yeah, so starting the conversation. And at that point, I'll officially be able to say thank you, yes or no, and provide some additional information.
Any initial feedback?
I really like this artist. I like her a lot. You know, I guess there is some question as to the style or perhaps, or technique, but if we don't want it, I know the library is asking for help with their art. So if we don't want it, we could potentially donate it to the library. Yeah, so.
I mean, I would say, given we have quite the variety of art throughout City Hall, in terms of permanent gallery collections, we have sculpture work of wolves and by a local artist, so that gets the attribution of the local artist that, I mean, doesn't particularly relate to Albany beyond that. we don't have set guidelines on this, so it's really just up to us. I mean, it has a Albany angle, we have other things that don't necessarily involve Albany, but are from local artists that contributed. The only concern that I see with it, would be the size of the piece. And where would it live permanently? So if we can think of a good spot for that, I wouldn't otherwise.
I'm thinking you walk around, I enjoy it.
Yeah,
But.
If not, do you want me to reach out to the train station?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or at least the transit office, the inside is Amtrak, but inside our
Yeah.
transit office does have, so I mean, that would be. A very direct connection, but it also isn't city hall, so
I think my dad has a piece hanging in there.
Were we thinking about removing some of the pieces that have been in City Hall for a really long period of time and replacing them?
we've talked off and on as
Right.
part of the bigger revamp of just moving things around, and we've had staff express that, and staff besides Kim. Express to individual commission members, an interest in that because they would love to see some freshening up and
Yeah.
some changes, even just rotating where, because, if some people always meet in the same rooms and they don't see any of the other pieces, so just rotating internally would be huge. And we do have the inventory that, you all kindly worked on, a couple of years ago now. So adding a new piece would be a good time to potentially take that inventory and rotate some of it, and then also come up with that list that we've talked about off and on of what we may, what I refer to from being a museum's background as deaccession from the permanent collection, so look at removing it from the collection. It could serve as a piece that we would auction potentially or some other way, sell to provide funds that would then go back into replacement costs or repair.
I think it's cool that somebody's donating art, you know?
Yeah, we wanna encourage that.
Right. So, I mean, the only thing that the only thing that really turned me off from accepting it is that edge is really distracting. Like, I would donate my time and materials to make a frame if we want some good at making frames,
So we need to find a spot for it. And then do something. Yeah, I agree.
I think
with
a frame would be
knowing
really
that
nice to
Yeah.
make it consistent with the other works that are
Raw
in here.
edges, yeah,
and
okay,
I have no problem making frames that big. That's my photographs about that size, so.
30 by 40.
Yeah, 24 by 32, so pretty close.
If we accept it, are we under obligation to hang it?
That's a great question, that I don't think our policy outlines, in anything specific, and
We'll get to talk about that as the next bullet point.
yeah, public art guidelines, because we've realized as we've made a lot of strides in the last year that we don't have guidelines on some of this, and that's an excellent question to include in that conversation. In theory, probably, and if we're accepting it, we're mostly accepting it under the understanding that we would be keeping it so for display.
And it wouldn't have to be immediate, like we could say that we're working on a plan
Yeah.
and that it'll be incorporated.
I wouldn't want to take up more floor space down here since there's already multiple acquired city-owned works downstairs.
well, that's what I'm thinking is that there's one piece in particular, I don't know if it'll fit where I'm thinking, but the one piece of the crab shack
Yeah,
that's, it's been here for forever and it's somewhere on the coast. Donated back in 1997. So it's
That fit
been,
there.
it's been here a minute, but I have no idea if that'll fit there.
Yeah,
And I guess another question is if we, the past couple months, the interest level in exhibiting in this section has been reduced. So do you create more space up there by putting the rotating works through and moving some of the other, I mean, I have no clue, but,
That's certainly something, cause that, if that would fit, we can move the crab shack somewhere down the hallway or, yeah.
that goes back to, or do we have to get council if you're able to move.
If you all come up with a plan, I will do everything that I can to figure out what, it hasn't been done. So, I'll work on navigating that, but let's cross that bridge when we have, when you're like, this is gonna go here, this is gonna go there, as I think it would be easier to take it in one fell swoop as opposed to piecemealing it.
Okay.
And maybe it just goes to leadership, and it doesn't have to go to council if additional art is not being purchased. And if we aren't,
We're not selling
anything, we're not
Buying anything.
buying anything,
Moving stuff around.
it might be something that can be taken care of administratively. Just if we're taking something and wanting to replace that, that one's. I think just the tapestry, in all honesty, I feel like the tapestry just carries more weight because
It does.
it is the backdrop and the focal point of council chambers.
Right, and because we've had one particular council member approach us, the mayor approach us about it, which is not necessarily directive of how
Council feels.
commissions should operate. We're under the whole of the council.
Right.
So.
So am I hearing we're keeping it?
Well, it's, is there a motion?
Motion to keep it?
Sure. Motion to keep it. Any
I'll
seconds?
second it.
Second? Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of keeping the donated artwork, say aye.
I,
Any opposed, same sign. All right, we have a new piece of in the permanent gallery.
Love it.
Okay, and that. You're willing to donate your time and
I'll frame it, sure, no problem.
and I'll kind of look and
Look
see
and
where
see if
maybe we
there's
can move things around and we can, yeah.
I think it's a good impetus to actually do that project
Okay,
potentially
yeah.
of fully revamping locations of materials. Okay, so then next discussion item is the public art guidelines. So this is Kim again.
All right, so this one's a long one, so I apologize. So as a refresher, we don't have any public art guidelines. So we are using some templates that another municipality has put together and trying to see if we can make modifications so it best suits us. So at our last meeting, we tackled sections 1 and 2. And based on, I included the track changes that hopefully we'll get to some of the meat of what our conversations were. So we're gonna quickly go through those. So in section 1, you can see that we've added some. So we're gonna catalog the public art collection in City Hall, the Albany Public Library, Carnegie Library, and at outdoor locations. At that point, last meeting, we didn't know what the library situation is. Called the library, they're like, we love your help, come on over. We know there's 4 pieces that so they're into it. So that's exciting. So I can connect Lisa, Nolan, anybody who's interested with Eric, and he'll give you the information. Cause at this point, they have 3 to 4 works that I think they feel really strongly about, and others that are just kind of out and about.
Can I?
Yeah,
On number 1, just to note, on the bullets, there's a doubling of information. So the very last bullet says provide guidance to the city council on public art, and then the next bullet says provide guidance to the city council on public art.
oh goodness, thank you.
Yeah. There's just a duplicate.
Awesome, thank
Sorry,
you.
okay.
No, that's perfect, my eyeballs didn't catch it.
Yeah, so we'll just when we're all done and set with this probably goes to the attorney for all that, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not gonna send it piecemeal, just because, as we continue, my plan is, and you can tell me if you like this or not, as we add on sections, you'll continue to see the full document and it'll just get longer. So if we make a modification in February that ripples back through, that way we'll send one copy, if that's okay.
Cool, so this is a long term.
Oh, yeah, we're in for
Okay,
another couple months.
Oh, good. All right.
So, yeah, the original document was like 21 pages, so we're like a third of the way through after today,
Okay,
which we can do this. So maintenance of public art, we had a lot of questions about who funds that. So if you go to section 2.3, the Arts Commission shall be responsible for recommending repairs, cleaning, labeling that may be necessary to maintain the art collection. Should repairs in the art collection be necessary, the committee shall coordinate the repair with city staff, professional service, and or volunteers based on consultation with the artist and or the maintenance plan on record. Sorry, I probably need to clean that up. That's a long sentence. If the repair can be addressed by current city staff, so if it's,
The lights go out on the,
yes, and our building maintenance crew can come in and take care of it, awesome. We don't need to discuss it. You just say, Kim, the lights are out, and I say, ha, we'll work on it. But should the repair activities require contractors or financial resources? I said over $200. That's a little bit arbitrary, but at that point, I feel like that's getting it to be a little bit meatier and that we should probably have a conversation about it. City staff liaison will discuss with city leadership to determine financial resources, priority, and possible next steps. So for, this is a learning example. So like the lights out there, we've had issues with the electrical boxes continuing to flood. Our department has done more than $200 worth of work and materials, far more than that, to help that. Was that probably something we should have done? I'm an art lover, I'm a team player, let's make it happen. But long-term, if things continue to happen and it has a larger financial impact, then I think that's something that city leadership should look at and say, how much can we put towards this, or are there modifications that need to be made? Do we need a new tapestry? Do we? Horrible vandalism at some place, you know what I mean, that is outside of our scope, somebody needs to pay for it, and that's when I would take it to city leadership to say, all right, how are we tackling this and where is it coming on priority? I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's kind of the proposal. Do we feel okay with that?
Mhm.
Okay, and so because the original language was performance of all the repairs, you all are incredible, you're fabulous, I don't expect you to be the actual contractors to do all of the work. And it also kind of comes with an assumption that there's money available and we don't really have that. So if you're okay with that, that gets us through the changes from sections 1 and 2. Okay, so section 3 is acquisition of art, which was a learning experience for today. So I don't know if anybody had a chance to go through and read. If not, we can take it 3-1, take a break, have folks reread it, see if there's any questions, make changes, move on to 3-2. And our hope is that we will be able to make it through this document before 4:50. So that we have time to discuss other things. Yes.
So is the date here 2054
Yeah.
on that 3.1 background? Includes work that were in the city's possession prior to 20.
Oh, that's a typo. Yep, thank you. See, perfect. Already
I was like, wait, what?
prior to 2025. So prior to today, here's what's in it. Thank you.
Yep.
yeah, let's everybody just take a quick 3.1 review really quickly, and we'll move. Super fun, Alicia.
I've got my pen out too, girl. We got the.
She's got multicolored.
Anybody have 3.1, any comments?
Yeah, other than that.
3.2.
And this starts to get us to some of our conversations that we had about different styles, about some art that involves drug use or inciting violence. These are the sections that give us a little, I mean, they're still squishy, but it gives us at least some framework to say yes or no. Apologize for my large.
Just the straight 3.2. And then it gets into subsections. So we'll hold off on getting into those just yet. You made it through 3.2, let me know. Have any comments?
Members of it. The only thing I can't determine from this is our ability to,
Project.
yeah, like,
I think looking ahead a little bit, I think the next couple sections give us more, so 3.21, 3.2, give us some more criteria. That first section, just broadly, is very fluffy language. But that talks about how it's subjective, and that we are, it is a subjective process, and we're gonna do our best. And I think I'm pretty okay with that, I stand, but I can see where you're going with it, yeah.
I like what is said in 3.213, reflects public aesthetics. That's the subsection, yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody should get the 3.21 on page 4 of 7.
I like the language and how they frame it. I think that's good.
mhm.
So take a second, read it.
Otherwise, we'll wind up with kitties and flowers on the wall everywhere.
And this is not for our gallery, this is just for.
Right, public, yeah.
Okay. Where they put the limit on your edition size.
And we can change that.
Yeah, that one I was wondering, I was gonna have a question about that too.
Did it say anything?
20.
Doing it too.
Huh?
My stomach is
Oh.
making
Oh.
very loud noises.
They don't feed us at Rotary.
They don't? Oh.
Okay, so 3.21, everybody make it through it, I take long to read, so I imagine you did. I think Nolan, you're hitting on a similar one, that limited edition to section 4. I absolutely fully understand, yeah, original works and not, copies of things. But certain styles of art, such as photography, you're not getting the original, like, glass plate negative,
No.
you are getting a copy typically. So how does that policy apply in that situation? And maybe that's some more expertise such as Nolan, on what's more common on that.
Well, I've never seen anything with a limited edition size anywhere, but
We can
I mean,
strike it all together, I mean, we
yeah,
can strike it
it
all
might be
together.
good just to leave it open. So we have that ability to say. Cause if it's written in some rule somewhere, somebody's gonna be like, well. That has a limited edition of 35 and it clearly says that you won't accept anything. I'm not thinking so much as photography. Well, I mean, that's a good point, but. Like even like woodblock prints and stuff and we might have.
We had an artist, Peter Matthews, and he does original paintings, mostly wildlife, but beautiful, beautiful work. But he is like a lot of artists, they, like Madeline does this as well, where, you know, original piece, and then she does prints off of the original piece. And I think here what it's saying is that those are limited editions of no more than 25 signed by the artist. Well, that's not unacceptable. I mean, a lot of artists do that. And I don't think I don't have a problem with them showing one of 25, like if they have a reproduction, a print, but it's one of something, I am fine with that.
Yeah, I think the rule there is mainly meant to help guide the collection so that we don't end up with, you know, how many copies and reproductions of the Mona Lisa are there in existence?
So, yeah.
Right.
So, so I'm not saying somebody would donate that, but as an example,
Right.
do we accept reproductions, or like, what is the level of originality that we're asking for as we build a permanent collection?
Well, even Picasso had edition sizes of like 500, so would we turn down a Picasso? They have a 500.
Yeah.
Do we have to put a limit on it?
No.
Can we just say limited editions? Do we have to say the no more than
Limited
25?
editions signed by the artists may be
Maybe
considered on the
it says
limited page.
maybe.
Just leave out
It
the,
says may.
Yeah,
just leave out the
Yeah.
language that says of no more than
Yeah, that
25.
puts a number on.
Just strike that part.
will be considered on a limited basis. Yeah,
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 I
just
mean,
take
it
that,
says it
yeah,
may
yeah.
be, yeah.
Limited editions signed by the artist may be considered on a limited basis.
Sounds good?
Yeah, that's better, that's much better.
That just clears it up, because it's mainly there, meant to protect us from.
I get what you're saying. Somebody go and find something at Goodwill or something and.
Yeah, and, or yeah, just somebody that is mass producing, you know, they have a 3D printer and they're now mass producing a 3D printed sculpture.
All right.
How many times can they do that off their 3D printer, right? And it's gonna be an exact replica, but that is not how it's
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's even
And they're
photographers.
producing thousands of them.
Interesting.
So, yes. And then the other thing, the suitability, so is that section asking, like, we were just talking about the edging of that being a raw edging, so are we asking artists there to provide framing, or is that like a consideration, like, is it just okaying us to have that as a consideration piece where if we didn't have Nolan who could provide a frame for it, that it would be a potential reason to say, oh, that's easily damaged, it's still in kind of a raw state, not a good state for display, and that's a reason to reject.
I would definitely say, I mean, I would say, yeah, I mean, I would say they would need to be gallery ready, you know, and to me, that's not gallery ready. I mean, there's galleries that would hang it, but I mean, not like, you're not gonna go, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's fragile media is a broad term. The museum has in its collection some very beautiful carvings that are made out of wood, and would not be particularly, I would say, fragile typically, but because of the intricacy of the carving and just the nature of being open to the public, you never know if somebody's gonna come in and just break a little piece up. And so I think it's mostly meant to make sure that we're being good stewards here, and that we're only accepting things that we're confident we'll be able to keep in good condition, so that also because the public's trusting us if they're donating these objects, they're trusting us to keep it in good condition. So it's probably just a informational piece. I just wanted to discuss that language point just to make sure we're good with it.
Right.
So we wouldn't accept.
Is there a line for any of this stuff in here to come?
I'm
Do you
sorry.
know of? Is there a line for any of this stuff that we're talking about in here?
A line. Oh, the suitability, I mean, 3.2.
I haven't looked on further, so I don't know if we're talking about something
Oh, about being gallery
like
ready?
what I just
Oh.
did earlier. Probably not.
It would be it'll be in this one too, yeah.
I think suitability, all of our pieces must be suitable for display in a public setting, which I think is kind of implied gallery ready or capable of being gallery ready.
That's why we don't have 3D art.
Yeah.
Because we don't have an ability right now to display them safely, like pottery.
And we wouldn't necessarily wanna accept like a sand mandala, like, I mean, that is a style of art that would not be something that we could easily secure and maintain, so.
Right, okay, my mind went the other way when I read suitable to display. That was more of the content, but I see, okay.
Wow, yeah, I
Yeah.
suppose that is as well, but,
Suitability different
Okay.
than aesthetic.
Right,
Yeah.
right, pieces extract. Yeah, okay.
any other concerns about that? I think that language is fine, but what we're saying,
Mhm.
but, any other on 3.2.1? No, all right, let's read 3.2.2.
Or maybe we should have done this before we.
Yes,
Requires
so,
a specific site.
yeah, selection for a specific site, which I don't think is that's major art pieces, so that's like the tapestry location, I would say.
For the light installation
Or the light
or,
installation, like major areas, and that is gonna happen, then the pieces need to be considered suitable for that spot and location. The smaller donations of framed pieces like this that can rotate along walls are, that's not site specific really. It's a mobile piece.
The only two things I could comment on would be paragraph 1 and 3. They've got artistic excellence and they're saying they should be examples of artistic excellence. Then they go to paragraph 3 where they talk about representing artists of varying acclaims. So I think, for a big city, sure, you're gonna have pieces that are pretty, well-known, or a style that's particularly excellent. But I'm not sure how you get both of those things at the same time.
Well, I think I would put that down to like. I don't wanna say anything that's gonna make people mad at me,
Go for it.
just go for it, yeah.
I'm already mad at you.
We'll just-
You don't even know why that's funny yet. So I would say it is possible. I thought that too, that initially I read that, and I'm like, that seems conflicting. I
Uh-huh.
don't think that's what they're saying. So you can have an unknown artist or a relatively unknown artist from the local community that does exemplify excellence within their field. The Ferguson collection at the museum that I was just talking about, the wood carvings, he was amazing and does not have near the level of acclaim that
Right.
others would. And so those would be pieces that if we were able to get a hold of a Ferguson carving would be amazing for the collection. He was very local. I wish I didn't bring photos, but it's just gorgeous, actually top-notch carving skills. And so that's very possible. And I think this was just meant to like, if the local middle school decides to have, an art fair, that we don't then have parents from that bringing their pieces, because they're like, my kid got the blue ribbon at the art fair.
Mhm.
And then wanna donate it to City Hall, and I think we should judge it, they're a relatively unknown artist. And we have to judge it on the merits of excellence, and while it may have been excellent within the show of the space of being a middle school display piece, is it a quality piece for a permanent collection
Mhm.
at City Hall? And you know, knowing that my daughter will one day be one of those kids doing that. I would say probably not. Now we can judge it on the merits of the piece itself.
Yeah.
And look, because there could be exceptionally skilled youth that would be bringing a piece forward.
Right.
But I think that's the contrast there. It's not that, you know, it doesn't have to be a recognized name or certain level to be considered
But the
excellent.
quality of the
We have
art,
to-
and that's difficult,
subjective.
because
and
that goes
it's
back to the subjectivity of
of
what,
art.
yeah, of art.
But we have to recognize, so if it's a modern piece of art that somebody's bringing forward to us, we just have to, as a group, try to recognize that there is a value to a piece of modern art that we may not all necessarily agree with, but it is
Right.
what's being offered, and does it meet the minimum standards
Mhm.
of that skill? And there's so many mediums
Oh, yeah.
that we're gonna be judging on this, that there's no way for us to have expertise in all of them,
Yeah,
right? Sculpture work versus photography versus, you know, the modern installations and self-disintegrating installations, the banana on the wall piece of art.
Mhm.
That people have done. We are in no way expected to know all of it, but we're gonna be using our best judgment, and I think it's okay as is, and that's my understanding. of
That,
it.
that makes sense to me, yeah.
But that's obviously, we just had to have a ton of conversation to get to that point, so I don't know if there's changes that we need to make that clear.
That banana on the wall is gonna live in art history books forever, though.
It is,
It's the
yeah.
weird thing, but I think that was the point,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah,
right, I see what you're saying.
yeah. Not every piece of graffiti is art, but Banksy. Is there any language recommendations, or do we feel comfortable with that?
I like
as we
this one.
expand on it?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay,
I do like what you said, though. There's one sentence, I should be in here somewhere, but all pieces will be judged on the merit of the piece itself or something like
I
that.
think that's at the
Yeah.
end, more or less at the end of 3.2.2, section 3.
3.23.
Very last sentence, a piece from a well-known artist should not be presumed to have more artistic merit than
Yeah.
a piece from a relatively.
Okay,
unknown
cool.
artist.
Yeah.
Alright,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought
right
that
behind
was
that.
excellent, yeah.
Sorry, the second to last, art should be chosen solely on the basis of intrinsic merit.
Mhm.
So we judge each piece
Cool.
and look at its intrinsic merit.
Okay.
3.3.
Put the caveat in here that when it goes to the legal team, they'll probably have defined language regarding procurement and all that stuff. But theoretically, here are the different types of ways that we can acquire.
When funds become available, huh?
I'm
Are we expecting
optimistic.
it?
I'm optimistic.
Let's go ahead and just read the remainder of 3.3 all the way, so 1.2.3, and then we can discuss. You want us to be along because we gotta reference section 6, and we're on section 3 still, so there'll be a future donation there. That'll reference back to this area, so that'll be down the road.
It's like a march.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
I think it sounds good. I did like what they did on 3.4, number 5. And encouraging public involvement, because on a lot of those grants, they wanna know. How is the public involved? So
Yeah,
that's good that that's there.
you continued past where I did.
Yeah, so did I, okay.
You continued on past where I did.
Oh, good. I'm sorry.
Overage.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say
But,
that.
so everybody good with the 3.3 and its subsections?
Mhm.
Oh, I moved to have something.
And then 3.4, go through that really quick, and I think we're on track.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
We do need to talk about First Fridays, because we have one coming up.
Well, I think the good thing with all this is we can finalize, we can, yeah.
And if you wanna hold off, I can carry 3.5, 3.4 on and just tack it on to the next one.
How about we do that?
Got it.
Like,
Yeah, this could be a long process.
yeah, cool.
But it's good. It's really good we're doing. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'll make those changes and you'll see them again in February.
Okay, so that is the end of the scheduled business, so we will end up going to business from the members, and I know we've got several pieces here, but let's start with Lisa.
Okay, so as you know, we've got a First Friday coming up on February 7th. One of the big deals right off the bat is the lighting. Because what happens in the gallery area that's in front of council chambers during the day is great, the light's wonderful. At night, you can't see anything. So the First Fridays start at 5:30, 5, and go to 6:30, and during the winter months, it's already dark. So we have to make some decisions about lighting, and I did find some lights. They're not trendy or pretty particularly, but they'll serve the purpose. The issue is the panels, they're pegboard panels, they're framed in wood, and the wood is 3 inches wide, so you can't find clips on the, cutesy lights or pretty nice lights that are open up to 3 inches. The only one I found was it's a work light, kind of like our work clips that we did with that. We're industrial. We're looking for that industrial look. Anyway, there are 4 panels. You need 2 lights for each panel to focus one side and then the other. So that's 8 lights. They come in a packet of 2. They are rechargeable, battery operated, so we don't have to worry about plugging them in. And then they would cost us about $212. Now, I can continue to look, but we really have to have something. We can't have a gallery showing and it's in the dark. So, yeah.
Is there any procurement issues around us purchasing something to some of the adjusted funds from our fundraising to do that?
Do you guys want to make that motion?
These are the lights, and like I say, it's the
Get more.
issue is how wide that clip has to go. So they sit on top of that bar that runs across the top of the panel, and then they rotate down. The light does, so it will rotate to show on the piece, yeah. But I mean, I can keep looking to see if I can find a better price,
I'm sorry.
or something different, but again, that 3-inch clip, yeah, that's the problem. Mhm.
Yeah.
Can we? It's a 3-inch
The clip has
header on that
to
thing,
open up 3 inches to attach to the top of that,
and that's all oak or wood, right?
wood, it's wood.
Can we alter those? Can we put a thinner
Uh,
rail up top or?
brilliant.
Oh,
That's
that is
brilliant.
smart. Can we,
Oh.
well, I hadn't even thought about that.
Um,
Then we could buy something that's more attractive. Yeah.
I'd say yes. What I would need from this group is saying approve up to X amount of dollars at this point, at this meeting, to be spent on appropriate lighting for future shows. So at least we've got it written down that I can go and purchase stuff once we have an idea of what will be retrofitted and what the actual clips are.
Well, let's you and I look at that.
I wanna go look at it
Yeah.
first.
Okay, let's
But I
look
think
at it
would be
and then
an
we'll
easy
get back
fix,
to you.
Just to
Okay.
run a.
Well,
Wait.
we
so
have to approve
have
the
a-
money today.
Yes.
To make sure,
What's
so to be ready for the February show,
Yes,
Oh,
regardless. Yeah,
It doesn't need to be the specific, it
That's
doesn't
right.
need to be the specific product, but if you wanna say, I approve up to $150 or up to $200.
and then we just figure it out.
Yeah,
so I would recommend, because prettier lighting will also probably be more expensive.
Not
So,
necessarily,
yeah.
there's some pretty cheapo ones out there, they're LED where you can't really replace the bulb. But, yeah, well,
How much do we know how much we have available outside
Yeah.
of the grant? Do we have that?
It was like $1,000 bucks.
no, it's more than that, it's like $1,400-$1,500.
So I would prefer it to not be too cheapo.
right,
Because if these are gonna be something that we're using semi-permanently,
yeah,
Well, there's two ways to look at that, right? Cause if
Yeah.
it is really cheapo looking and kind of gaudy and we just leave them up and the council walks by and goes like, those are horrible. Maybe we should.
give them the money to do something with,
Well,
or
we-
tell them not to do this anymore would be the other very.
Oh, right, true. Yeah, you gotta take those down. That's horrible.
Take that down,
Good
don't do those
call.
anymore.
yeah.
Dang it.
But we could definitely find something more attractive that isn't.
Sure.
As in
Cheapo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I were to make a motion about $200 max.
I was gonna recommend 400.
Yeah, go
Oh,
up and
okay.
just plan to come in
Which is-
under.
Doesn't mean we have to spend it all.
Okay.
Up to,
And
yes.
then you
Okay.
can use for best judgment.
Yes.
I make a motion
I second it.
of whatever it was.
400.
400.
Up to 400.
Yeah.
To make lighting improvements for City Hall.
Yes,
Okay.
Second that,
Yes.
yeah.
Got
Alright.
first and sorry.
alright.
So yes, we have a motion on the floor to spend up to $400 to improve the lighting for art in City Hall.
And Nolan and I will work on
We
that.
have a first motion and a second, and if there's any discussion. Nolan's got some discussion.
So if whatever, we can't alter that or they don't let us alter it or we can't find lighting for it, that's the backup, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's
Okay.
that.
That's within
Okay.
the purchasable
Cool.
amount.
You can.
I will take it.
Yeah,
okay,
And presumably we said to make improvements, so if there are costs to making the adjustments to make it less than 3 inches, that would also be within that $400.
perfect.
Um,
And I got a guy.
yeah,
that can do that.
so, okay,
If you do.
are there final discussion? No, then all in favor, say aye. Any opposed, same sign? Great. Hey, we've been raising that money for. Good. First time we spent money like that.
We're just, it was so
You got
hard
to
to
do a
get
fun-
it.
yeah, we fundraise everything for all.
But we have to, we don't have a choice. It's either that or we give up First Fridays during the winter.
Yeah.
And we don't wanna do that, so. The next thing is, we are out of snacks and we have some lemonade left, but,
Let me see, I'll connect with Amanda, cause we've got the gift card, and so, if she's not able to go and get them,
we just need to let her know that we definitely need.
snacks and beverages,
Yeah.
and it looks like the carafe got broken at some point.
I did that.
Well, yeah, so we should get another
I'll
carafe,
replace it. It
No.
was mine.
We
No,
have money,
no.
it's fine. Don't
We've
do
got
that.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
That.
It's not like it was
results in
high quality
long-term
to begin with.
resentments.
yeah, we'll get a
Heavy.
plastic one.
Oh, a plastic one. That thing just shattered. I mean, there were little pieces of glass everywhere. This is for something to serve people. They come in.
So yeah, so I'll work on that.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
No, thank you for that info.
Okay, and then the last thing is. Have we really decided to have First Fridays every first Friday or are we adjusting it to the now 2-month show that we do for the artists? It's no longer gonna be every single month. That got to be
Right.
really difficult. So now we're doing an artist every 2 months.
Okay.
So then we didn't have anything in January, but we were scheduled for February, and that will be the kind of the middle of these people's show that's out here.
Okay.
Um,
I can report that we have enough money for security for the next 3
okay.
shows. We have, I think, $180 left. That gives me $30 to buy some drinks.
Oh, with the
So,
grant money.
For the, yes,
Oh.
sorry, for the grant money. So without having to tap into the money that you guys have been
Oh.
fundraising for, there's enough for 3 shows.
Now, that grant money is from the Lynn County Coalition. That was another question, you might know this. Can we amend our application with the garbage people,
Oh, that's a separate.
with the garbage people?
Oh, yeah.
Because we have a grant from them, we were working on a bigger grant, and the garbage people gave us some money that was supposed to go towards that,
A match for that.
a match for that grant. So the money's been kind of hanging.
Hanging.
And what I'm wondering is if we can just amend our application somehow to say, we were going over here, but now we're gonna go this way, and we would like it for our First Fridays, funding First Fridays.
I didn't write that one, so, cause that's separate, so Lynn County Cultural Coalition
Right, right.
was funding that.
Right.
And I actually already submitted the reporting on the numbers that we had for it, and that one's done. So, yeah, probably for Republic Services, right?
I mean,
Who does that?
that would be me.
Okay,
So, so we have $1,500, so the group could decide to allocate 500 towards it, or just say, you know what, we wanna fund First Fridays for the next biennium based on this grant. And use it all towards it, if you don't wanna use that towards like acquisition or purchasing of another community art,
Yeah,
cause that could also go towards that.
one of the things I've always wanted to do and been thinking and working on was to get 3D art. And specifically ceramics. The issue is we don't have any pedestals. I have researched on how to secure a piece to a pedestal. That seems to me to be a pretty good thing. To build those would probably run us, I checked into that, and it around $100 or so, because you need to use a certain type of wood, so it's, looks nice. and big.
$100 each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so, even if we only had 3 to start, we could spend that money that way. And then we could start incorporating more 3-dimensional art, which I would love to do, but. Because otherwise, I'm not sure what we would spend the money on. If we're paying, we've got the light situation taken care of, we've got our snacks taken care of. So then,
yeah, I mean, that 1,500 is open-ended, and we need to have more discussions about it, or we can make.
specific,
If we wanna just say, okay, let's use it so we get it off of our plate of worries, cause we are struggle sometimes to come to final decisions. I think potentially saying we want to look at expanding the types of artists that we can show at City Hall. That is a solid program expansion, and that would include funding pedestals for display purposes. I think that would be a good way to pitch it
Yeah.
to public services, and then because of that, we also are requesting to have funding for our the First Friday artist invitationals that we do, that way, when we start showing these new artists, and then we can make sure there's a little sign, thanks to
yeah, we
Public services
definitely
on the
should
table,
do that, yeah.
that we have these, and yeah, I think that would be a fair.
And it could be, and in all honesty, the $400 could come instead of our, there's a chance that the $400, if this group decides that they wanna use the whole 1,500 towards gallery and First Friday improvements, we could rack the lights, pedestals, reception materials into that, and you know, maybe
A
it is something that we,
brochure.
a brochure, or it's something that we pay for, you know, a performer, you know, we found that it's not financially possible for us to sustain on a monthly basis, but maybe we say that we're gonna do a, you know, a performing art showcase on one of the, I feel like we could come up with a,
Yeah,
Okay,
to be mindful of time, I will move to say that we expend the Republic Services grants on gallery improvements and First Friday continuation. Being very broad there, but
a second,
can we have a second? Do you have any discussion?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, we're not gonna find an artist for a commission piece of work for the chamber for $1,500.
Okay, then we'll take a vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Man, you got to be here for when we're spending all the money.
Yeah,
This is
this-
amazing. You're a good luck charm.
there's one last.
Or we're
thing
gonna
on-
go broke.
Yeah, yeah, you're doing fun stuff.
Story of my
One
life.
last thing on First Fridays, are we having them every month? Are we having them every other month?
It's a great question. We moved to rotating the gallery only every 2 months, correct?
Correct.
So my assumption was that when we did that, we only needed the one First Friday, and that was one of the ways we were going to. I will say, I'm not a big advocate for that, because I think consistency is better. So just saying we're open every First Friday would be better.
If we
I-
do that, and we can do that, but we're down to 6 commissioners. So that means that every person would have to take 4 during the year. And if that means that some First Friday comes along and nobody is signed up, then we don't have a First Friday. I'm not gonna jump in constantly, and Maddie will not be a bit, Madeline, our other commissioner, she's ill. So she won't be able to jump in when people are unavailable.
Yeah, and that is, it's a hard decision. Can we postpone one more month?
Yeah, because we're having a First Friday, February
February,
anyways.
yes.
Anyway, can we postpone a decision until we get Carolyn's nominee
Yes,
for the, because we
yes.
need feedback from Lee and to see what First Friday is like and what
Okay.
commitment we're asking of new members. And things of that nature, I think, because they need to fully understand as best we can.
So who wants to do February 7th?
cause Maddie is.
'Cause Maddie is
typically
out.
held it down, and she is.
Yeah.
Didn't I already sign up for February?
I think
Yeah,
you
no,
did.
that's-
I'd started a list, but I only had you.
I
Okay,
will
I'll look
double-
at my phone, but I
Okay.
don't wanna get in trouble, so.
I can double check, and if not, I'll send out
Oh.
an invitation, to sign up.
my whole life's in that.
I know, me too. It's hard not to.
I mean,
Okay.
you can check your phone, but it just becomes public record, so.
Yeah, anybody can just like, oh, I need to seize that phone, and you have to hand it over to the city lawyer and all that fun shit, eh? I don't know how that, has anybody ever done that?
The records have been requested.
Okay, see, I'm staying off that thing.
Wow,
Yeah, so be aware. Anything else, Lisa?
no, that's it.
Wonderful.
We did it.
Yay. Nolan, you got anything? Cause we're in technically business from members.
Oh, probably, but I don't know, no,
Okay,
I wasn't ready for that. It's not 10 minutes.
No, I know we have 10 minutes, man, kick us out.
Yeah.
I have a couple of things that I already kind of gave the update. I did submit the report for the Lane County Cultural Coalition, so that's
Thank
done,
you.
resolved. Hopefully they're happy. They haven't given me any feedback. I'm on that cultural coalition, so I'll hear about it if there's anything wrong.
Wait, what was that grant for?
That was for the
Oh, you're reporting, yeah, okay,
Yeah, that
that
was
was
reporting.
I got you.
The other thing is that we will need to vote for our chair, vice chair positions at the next meeting. We didn't do it this time because we're a little short and we're still onboarding some folks. I will not be returning as chair, so we need to figure that out. And that is because I have accepted the position of the executive director at the Lane County History Museum in Eugene.
You're
I
leaving.
am currently.
Yeah, that's why
going
it's-
to- That's why he hates me right now.
say
Yeah, Ed already gave you a heads up, okay.
Oh, but that's an exciting.
It's very exciting,
You.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Congratulations. It's very cool.
Thank you. So I will still be living in the area, so I will still, for at least the next 6 months, is what I keep telling people. So I haven't, and then I'll reassess after commuting for 6 months. The problem being is that I can't share and be on Zoom. But I could potentially join the meetings via Zoom. I haven't fully decided to necessarily step away yet. So I'm working on that as I get through this transition process and figure out what my time is like. But yeah, at the very next meeting, I'll only be in my second week at the new museum, and so I will be in Eugene during our normal meeting time. So hopefully I'll be able to attend via Zoom, and I will let you know if that's not going to be the case.
Can you just attend on your phone and like set it down
Yeah.
in a drawer somewhere?
We have quorum. I will give you quorum if you need it.
Yeah,
So definitely Lisa, as our vice chair, that would mean you would facilitate the meeting next month until we do elections. So folks should think about if they're interested in
Stepping up.
stepping in.
now we have 3 people to replace. Well, we've replaced one, so now we have
replaced
2
one.
more
We have
people.
an open seat, we have somebody on.
Well, he's not
extended
leaving the
leave.
commission.
I am not.
Oh,
That's what I'm
okay,
saying.
okay,
Not
can't run it
necessarily,
from-
I
Just can't-
may end
I
up
got you.
leaving the
Okay.
commission, but I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
But I can't be chair, cause I cannot,
Okay.
it's
Oh, well, that
unlikely
makes
that
a
I'll be
little
able to be in person,
okay.
so.
Think
So that is
Yep.
that's my big update,
All right,
so, okay. Staff update.
Okay, you'll be getting CAG member training invites where you get to go and learn from our awesome city staff about how to be a part of a citizen advisory group. For new members, definitely recommended as it tells you all the fun things about not bringing your phone out. You can't text it, I know, and you can't, well, you can, and you can't group text everything. If I send out an email or Alicia does, you can't reply all. So, but they do a much better job explaining all of it, so I highly recommend. But as you all know, it's always nice for a reminder, so be on the lookout for CAG training.
And you get to listen to Peter's jokes.
You do. Oh, you might have already heard a lot of them. And then other than that, that's it.
okay.
That's it.
All right, well, thank you. Our next meeting is Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. And it'll be same time, 3:30, probably same room. And thank you all. We'll adjourn at 4:55.
Thank you guys.
We did it.
Welcome.
It's Matt and nice